The Two Gentlemen of Verona by William Shakespeare. Act I scene I Verona, an open place. Cease to persuade, my loving Proteus. Home-keeping youth have ever homely wits. Were it not affection chains thy tender days to the sweet glances of thy honoured love, I rather would entreat thy company to see the wonders of the world abroad than, living dully sluggardized at home, wear out thy youth with shapeless idleness. But since thou lovest, love still and thrive therein, even as I would when I to love begin. Wilt thou be gone, sweet Valentine, adieu? Think on thy Proteus, when thou haply seest some rare noteworthy object in thy travel. Wish me partaker in thy happiness when thou dost meet good hap. And in thy danger, if ever danger do environ thee, commend thy grievance to my holy prayers, for I will be thy beadsman, Valentine. That's on some shallow story of deep love. How young Leander crossed the Hellespont. That's a deep story of a deeper love, for he was more than over shoes in love. 'Tis true, for you are over boots in love, and yet you never swum the Hellespont. To be in love where scorn is bought with groans, coy looks with hot saw sighs, one fading moment's mirth with 20 watchful, weary, tedious nights, if haply won, perhaps a hapless gain, if lost, why then a grievous labour won, however, but a folly bought with wit, or else a wit by folly vanquished. Love is your master, for he masters you, and he that is so yoked by a fool, methinks, should not be chronicled for wise. Yet writers say, as in the sweetest bud the eating canker dwells, so eating love inhabits in the finest wits of all. And writers say, as the most forward bud is eaten by the canker ere it blow, even so by love the young and tender wit is turned to folly, blasting in the bud, losing his verdure even in the prime, and all the fair effects of future hopes. But wherefore waste I time to counsel thee that art a votary to fond desire? Once more adieu? My father at the road expects my coming, that to see me shipped. Sweet Proteus, no. Now let us take our leave. To Milan let me hear from thee by letters of thy success in love, and what news else betideth here in absence of thy friend, and I likewise will visit thee with mine. He after honor hunts, I after love. He leaves his friends to dignify them more. I leave myself, my friends and all, for love. Thou, Julia, thou hast metamorphosed me, made me neglect my studies, lose my time, while with good counsel set the world at naught, made wit with musing weak, hot sick with thought. 20 to 1 then he is shipped already, and I have played the sheep in losing him. Indeed, a sheep doth very often stray, and if the shepherd be a while away. From a pound to a pin, fold it over and over, 'tis threefold too little for carrying a letter to your lover. Go, go, be gone, to save your ship from wreck, which cannot perish having thee aboard, being destined to a drier death on shore. Exit speed. I must go send some better messenger. I fear my Julia would not deign my lines, receiving them from such a worthless post. Exit. Scene room into the same, garden of Julia's house. But say, Lucetta, now we are alone, wouldst thou then counsel me to fall in love? Of all the fair resort of gentlemen that every day with Paul encounter me, in thy opinion which is worthiest love? Please you repeat their names, I'll show my mind according to my shallow simple skill. As of a knight well spoken, neat and fine, but were I you, he never should be mine. Pardon, dear madam. 'Tis a passing shame that I, unworthy body as I am, should censure thus on lovely gentlemen. I have no other but a woman's reason. I think him so because I think him so. Sir Valentine's page, and sent, I think, from Proteus. He would have given it you, but I, being in the way, did in your name receive it. Pardon the fault, I pray. Now, by my modesty, a goodly broker, do you presume to harbour wanton lines, to whisper and conspire against my youth? Now, trust me, 'tis an office of great worth, and you an officer fit for the place. Or else return no more into my sight, and yet I would I had looked the letter. It were a shame to call her back again, and pray her to a fault for which I chid her. What a fool is she, that knows I am a maid, and would not force the letter to my view? Since maids, in modesty, say no to that which they would have the proffer construe aye. Fie, fie, how wayward is this foolish love that, like a testy babe, will scratch the nurse, and presently all humbled kiss the rod. How churlishly I chid Lucetta hence, when willingly I would have had her here. How angrily I taught my brow to frown, when inward joy enforced my heart to smile. My penance is to call Lucetta back and ask remission for my folly past. What ho, Lucetta? I would it were, that you might kill your stomach on your meat and not upon your maid. Madam, it will not lie where it concerns, unless it have a false interpeta, that I might sing it, madam, to a tune. Give me a note, your ladyship can set, as little by such toys as may be possible. Best sing it to the tune of Light o' Love. Keep tune there still, so you will sing it out, and yet methinks I do not like this tune. Nay, now you are too flat and ma the concord with too harsh a descant, there wanteth but a mean to fill your song. This babble shall not henceforth trouble me. Here is a coil with protestation, tears the letter. Go get you gone, and let the papers lie, you would be fingering them to anger me. She makes it strange, but she would be best pleased to be so angered with another letter. Exit. Nay, would I were so angered with the same? O hateful hands to tear such loving words, injurious wasps to feed on such sweet honey and kill the bees that yield it with your stings. I'll kiss each several paper for amends. Look, here is writ, kind Julia. Unkind Julia, as in revenge of thy ingratitude, I throw thy name against the bruising stones, trampling contemptuously on thy disdain. And here is writ, love-wounded Proteus. Poor wounded name, my bosom as a bed shall lodge thee till thy wound be thoroughly healed, and thus I search it with a sovereign kiss. But twice or thrice was Proteus written down. Be calm, good wind, blow not a word away till I have found each letter in the letter, except mine own name, that some whirlwind bear unto a ragged, fearful hanging rock, and throw it thence into the raging sea? Lo, here in one line is his name twice writ. Poor fallen Proteus, passionate Proteus, to the sweet Julia, that I'll tear away. And yet I will not, sith so prettily he couples it to his complaining names. Thus will I fold them one upon another. Now kiss, embrace, contend, do what you will. Madam, dinner is ready, and your father stays. Nay, I was taken up for laying them down. Yet here they shall not lie, for catching cold. Ay, madam, you may say what sights you see. I see things too, although you judge I wink. Scene Roman 3 the same, Antonio's house. Tell me, Panthino, what sad talk was that wherewith my brother held you in the cloister? He wondered that your lordship would suffer him to spend his youth at home, while other men, of slender reputation, put forth their sons to seek preferment out, some to the wars, to try their fortune there, some to discover islands far away, some to the studious universities. For any, or for all these exercises, he said that Proteus your son was meet, and did request me to importune you to let him spend his time no more at home, which would be great impeachment to his age, in having known no travel in his youth. Nor needst thou much importune me to that, whereon this month I have been hammering. I have considered well his loss of time, and how he cannot be a perfect man, not being tried and tutored in the world. Experience is by industry achieved and perfected by the swift course of time. Then tell me, whither were I best to send him? I think your lordship is not ignorant how his companion, youthful Valentine, attends the emperor in his royal cot. 'Twere good, I think, your lordship sent him thither. There shall he practice tilts and tournaments, hear sweet discourse, converse with noblemen, and be an eye of every exercise worthy his youth and nobleness of birth. I like thy counsel, well hast thou advised, and that thou mayst perceive how well I like it, the execution of it shall make known. Even with the speediest expedition, I will dispatch him to the emperor's cot. Tomorrow, may it please you, Don Alfonso with other gentlemen of good esteem, a journeying to salute the emperor, and to commend their service to his will. Good company, with them shall Proteus go, and, in good time, now will we break with him. Sweet love, sweet lines, sweet life, here is her hand, the agent of her heart. Here is her oath for love, her honor's pawn. Oh, that our fathers would applaud our loves to seal our happiness with their consents. O heavenly Julia, may't please your lordship, 'tis a word or two of commendations sent from Valentine, delivered by a friend that came from him. There is no news, my lord, but that he writes how happily he lives, how well beloved and daily graced by the emperor, wishing me with him, partner of his fortune, as one relying on your lordship's will, and not depending on his friendly wish. My will is something sorted with his wish. Muse not that I thus suddenly proceed, for what I will, and there an end. I am resolved that thou shalt spend some time with Valentinus in the emperor's cot. What maintenance he from his friends receives, like exhibition, thou shalt have from me. Tomorrow be in readiness to go. Excuse it not, for I am peremptory. My lord, I cannot be so soon provided. Please you, deliberate a day or two. Look, what thou want'st shall be sent off to thee. No more of stay. Tomorrow thou must go. Come on, Panthino. You shall be employed to hasten on his expedition. Exeunt Antonio and Panthino. Thus have I shunned the fire for fear of burning, and drenched me in the sea, where I am drowned. I feared to show my father Julia's letter, lest he should take exceptions to my love, and with the vantage of mine own excuse hath he accepted most against my love. Oh, how this spring of love resembleth the uncertain glory of an April day, which now shows all the beauty of the sun, and by a cloud takes all away. Sir Proteus, your father calls for you. He is in haste, therefore, I pray you to go. Why, this it is. My heart accords thereto, and yet 1,000 times it answers no. Exeunt. The Two Gentlemen of Verona by William Shakespeare. Uncopyright. May you do good and not evil. May you find forgiveness for yourself and forgive others. May you share freely, never taking more than you give. Copyright pages exist to tell you that you can't do something. Unlike them, this uncopyright page exists to tell you that the writing and artwork in this ebook are believed to be in the United States public domain. That is, they are believed to be free of copyright restrictions in the United States. The United States public domain represents our collective cultural heritage, and items in it are free for anyone in the United States to do almost anything at all with, without having to get permission. Copyright laws are different all over the world, and the source text or artwork in this ebook may still be copyrighted in other countries. If you're not located in the United States, you must check your local laws before using this ebook. Standard ebooks makes no representations regarding the copyright status of the source text or artwork in this ebook in any country other than the United States. Non-authorship activities performed on items that are in the public domain, so-called sweat of the brow, work, don't create a new copyright. That means that nobody can claim a new copyright on an item that is in the public domain for, among other things, work like digitization, mock-up, or typography. Regardless, the contributors to this ebook released their contributions under the terms in the CC 01.0 Universal Public Domain dedication, thus dedicating to the worldwide public domain all of the work they've done on this ebook, including but not limited to metadata, the title page, imprint, colophon, this uncopyright, and any changes or enhancements to, or mock-up on, the original text and artwork. This dedication doesn't change the copyright status of the source text or artwork. We make this dedication in the interest of enriching our global cultural heritage, to promote free and libre culture around the world, and to give back to the unrestricted culture that has given all of us so much. Table of Contents. Landmarks. Act Roman 2. Sinai, Milan. The Duke's Palace. Ha, let me see. I give it me its mine sweet ornament that decks a thing divine. Ah, Sylvia, Sylvia, as you enjoined me, I have writ your letter unto the secret nameless friend of yours, which I was much unwilling to proceed in but for my duty to your ladyship. Now trust me, madam, it came hardly off, for being ignorant to whom it goes I writ at random, very doubtfully. No, madam, so it stead you. I will write, please you command, 1,000 times as much, and yet, a pretty period. Well, I guess the sequel, and yet I will not name it, and yet I care not, and yet take this again, and yet I thank you, meaning henceforth to trouble you no more. Yes, yes, the lines are very quaintly writ, but since unwillingly, take them again. Nay, take them? Aye, you writ them, sir, at my request, but I will none of them. They are for you. I would have had them writ more movingly. And when it's writ, for my sake read it over, and if it please you, so, if not, why so? Why, if it please you, take it for your labor. And so, good morrow, servant, exit. O jest unseen, inscrutable, invisible, as a nose on a man's face or a weathercock on a steeple. My master sues to her, and she hath taught her suitor, he being her pupil, to become her tutor. O excellent device! Was there ever heard a better, that my master, being scribe, to himself should write the letter? I'll warrant you, 'tis as well, for often have you writ to her, and she, in modesty, or else for want of idle time, could not again reply, or fearing else some messenger that might her mind discover, herself hath taught her love himself to write unto her lover. All this I speak in print, for in print I found it. Why muse you, sir? 'Tis dinner time. Scene Roman 2. Verona, Julia's house. If you turn not, you will return the sooner. Keep this remembrance for thy Julia's sake. Giving a ring. Here is my hand for my true constancy, and when that hour oslips me in the day wherein I sigh not, Julia, for thy sake, the next ensuing hour some foul mischance torment me for my love's forgetfulness. My father stays my coming, answer not. The tide is now, nay, not thy tide of tears, that tide will stay me longer than I should. Julia, farewell. Exit, Julia. What, gone without a word? Aye, so true love should do, it cannot speak, for truth hath better deeds than words to grace it. Go, I come, alas, this parting strikes poor lovers dumb. Exeunt. Scene Roman 3. The same, a street, Scene Roman 4. Milan. The Duke's Palace. Now, daughter Sylvia, you are hard beset. Sir Valentine, your father's in good health. What say you to a letter from your friends of much good news? My lord, I will be thankful to any happy messenger from thence. I, my good lord, I know the gentleman to be of worth and worthy estimation, and not without deserts so well reputed. I, my good lord, a son that well deserves the honor and regard of such a father. I know him as myself, for from our infancy we have conversed and spent our hours together. and though myself have been an idle truant, omitting the sweet benefit of time to clothe mine age with angel-like perfection, yet hath Sir Proteus, for that's his name, made use and fair advantage of his days, his years but young, but his experience old, his head unmellowed, but his judgment ripe. And in a word, for far behind his worth comes all the praises that I now bestow, he is complete in feature and in mind with all good grace to grace a gentleman. Beshrew me, sir, but if he make this good, he is as worthy for an empress love as meet to be an emperor's counsellor. Well, sir, this gentleman is come to me, with commendation from great potentates, and here he means to spend his time a while. I think 'tis no unwelcome news to you. Welcome him then according to his worth. Sylvia, I speak to you, and you, Sir Thurio, for Valentine, I need not cite him to it. I will send him hither to you presently. Exit. This is the gentleman I told your ladyship had come along with me, but that his mistress did hold his eyes locked in her crystal looks. Belike that now she hath enfranchised them upon some other pawn for fealty. Nay, then he should be blind, and being blind, how could he see his way to seek out you? To see such lovers, Thurio, as yourself, upon a homely object love can wink. Welcome, dear Proteus. Mistress, I beseech you, confirm his welcome with some special favour. His worth is warrant for his welcome hither, if this be he you oft have wished to hear from. Mistress, it is, sweet lady, entertain him to be my fellow servant to your ladyship. Not so, sweet lady, but too mean a servant to have a look of such a worthy mistress. Leave off discourse of disability, sweet lady, entertain him for your servant. And duty never yet did want his meed. Servant, you are welcome to a worthless mistress. I wait upon his pleasure. Come, Sir Thurio, go with me. Once more, new servant, welcome. I'll leave you to confer of home affairs. When you have done, we look to hear from you. My tales of love were wont to weary you. I know you joy not in a love discourse. I, Proteus, but that life is altered now. I have done penance for contemning love, whose high imperious thoughts have punished me with bit of fasts, with penitential groans, with nightly tears and daily hot saw sighs. For in revenge of my contempt of love, love hath chased sleep from my enthralled eyes, and made them watches of mine own hot sorrow. O gentle Proteus, love's a mighty laud, and hath so humbled me as I confess there is no woe to his correction, nor to his service no such joy on earth. Now no discourse, except it be of love. Now can I break my fast, dine, sup, and sleep, upon the very naked name of love. Enough, I read your fortune in your eye. Was this the idol that you worship so? When I was sick, you gave me bit of pills, and I must minister the like to you? Then speak the truth by her, if not divine, yet let her be a principality, sovereign to all the creatures on the earth. Sweet, accept not any, except thou wilt accept against my love. And I will help thee to prefer her too. She shall be dignified with this high honour, to bear my lady's train, lest the base earth should from her vesture chance to steal a kiss, and of so great a favour growing proud, disdain to root the summer-swelling flower, and make rough winter everlastingly. Pardon me, Proteus, all I can is nothing to her whose worth makes other worthies nothing. She is alone. Not for the world. Why, man, she is mine own, and I as rich in having such a jewel as 20 seas, if all their sand were pearl, the wat a nectar, and the rocks pure gold. Forgive me that I do not dream on thee, because thou seest me dote upon my love. My foolish rival, that her father likes only for his possessions are so huge, is gone with her along, and I must after, for love, thou know'st, is full of jealousy. I and we are betrothed, nay, more, our marriage hour, with all the cunning manner of our flight, determined of, how I must climb her window, the ladder made of cords, and all the means plotted and agreed on for my happiness. Good Proteus, go with me to my chamber, in these affairs to aid me with thy counsel. Go on before, I shall inquire you forth. I must unto the road, to disembark some necessaries that I needs must use, and then I'll presently attend you, I will. Exit Valentine. Even as one heat another heat expels, or as one nail by strength drives out another, so the remembrance of my former love is by a newer object quite forgotten. Is it mine, or Valentine's praise, her true perfection, or my false transgression, that makes me reasonless to reason thus? She is fair, and so is Julia that I love, that I did love, for now my love is thawed, which, like a waxen image, gainst a fire, bears no impression of the thing it was. Methinks my zeal to Valentine is cold, and that I love him not as I was wont. Oh, but I love his lady too much, and that's the reason I love him so little. How shall I dote on her with more advice, that thus without advice begin to love her? 'Tis but her picture I have yet beheld, and that hath dazzled my reason's light. But when I look on her perfections, there is no reason but I shall be blind. If I can check my erring love, I will, if not, to compass her I'll use my skill. Exit. scene V the same, a street, scene VI the same, the Duke's palace. To leave my Julia, shall I be forsworn? To love fair Sylvia, shall I be forsworn? To wrong my friend, I shall be much forsworn. And even that power which gave me first my oath provokes me to this threefold perjury. Love bade me swear, and love bids me forswear. O sweet suggesting love, if thou hast sinned, teach me, thy tempted subject, to excuse it. At first I did adore a twinkling star, but now I worship a celestial sun. Unheedful vows may heedfully be broken, and he wants wit that once resolved will to learn his wit to exchange the bad for better. Fie, unreverend tongue, to call her bad, whose sovereignty so oft thou hast preferred with 20,000 soul-confirming oaths. I cannot leave to love, and yet I do, but there I leave to love where I should love. Julia I lose, and Valentine I lose. If I keep them, I needs must lose myself. If I lose them, thus find I by their loss for Valentine myself, for Julia Sylvia. I to myself am dearer than a friend, for love is still most precious in itself, and Sylvia, witness heaven that made her fair, shows Julia but a swarthy Ethiop. I will forget that Julia is alive, remembering that my love to her is dead, and Valentine I'll hold an enemy, aiming at Sylvia as a sweet a friend. I cannot now prove constant to myself, without some treachery used to Valentine. This night he meaneth with a codded ladder to climb celestial Sylvia's chamber window, myself in counsel, his competitor. Now presently I'll give her father notice of their disguising and pretended flight, who all enraged will banish Valentine. For Thurio, he intends, shall wed his daughter, but Valentine being gone, I'll quickly cross by some sly trick blunt Thurio's dull proceeding. Love, lend me wings to make my purpose swift, as thou hast lent me wit to plot this drift. Exit. Scene Roman 7 Verona, Julia's house. Counsel, Lucetta, gentle girl, assist me, and even in kind love I do conjure thee, who art the table wherein all my thoughts are visibly charactered and engraved, to lesson me and tell me some good mean how, with my honor, I may undertake a journey to my loving Proteus. A true devoted pilgrim is not weary to measure kingdoms with his feeble steps, much less shall she that hath love's wings to fly, and when the flight is made to one so dear, of such divine perfection, as Sir Proteus. Oh, know'st thou not his looks are my soul's food? Pity the dearth that I have pined in, by longing for that food so long a time. Didst thou but know the inly touch of love, thou wouldst as soon go kindle fire with snow as seek to quench the fire of love with words. I do not seek to quench your love's hot fire, but qualify the fire's extreme rage, lest it should burn above the bounds of reason. The more thou dampst it up, the more it burns. The current that with gentle murmur glides, thou know'st, being stopped, impatiently doth rage, but when his fair cause is not hindered, he makes sweet music with the enamelled stones, giving a gentle kiss to every sedge he overtaketh in his pilgrimage, and so by many winding nooks he strays with willing spot to the wild ocean. Then let me go and hinder not my cause. I'll be as patient as a gentle stream, and make a pastime of each weary step, till the last step have brought me to my love, and there I'll rest, as after much turmoil a blessed soul doth in Elysium. Not like a woman, for I would prevent the loose encounters of lascivious men. Gentle Lucetta, fit me with such weeds as may beseem some well-reputed page. No, girl, I'll knit it up in silken strings with 20 odd conceited true love knots. To be fantastic may become a youth of greater time than I shall show to be. That fits as well as tell me, good my lord, what compass will you wear your farthingale? Why even what fashion thou best likest, Lucetta? A round hose, madam, now's not worth a pin, unless you have a codpiece to stick pins on. Lucetta, as thou lovest me, let me have what thou thinkest meet and is most manly. But tell me, wench, how will the world repute me for undertaking so unstayed a journey? I fear me, it will make me scandalized. Then never dream on infamy, but go. If Proteus like your journey when you come, no matter who's displeased when you are gone, I fear me, he will scarce be pleased withal. That is the least, Lucetta, of my fear. 1,000 oaths, an ocean of his tears and instances of infinite of love, warrant me welcome to my Proteus. Base men that use them to so base effect. But true stars did govern Proteus' birth. His words are bonds, his oaths are oracles, his love sincere, his thoughts immaculate, his tears pure messengers sent from his heart as far from fraud as heaven from earth. Now, as thou lovest me, do him not that wrong to bear a hard opinion of his truth, only deserve my love by loving him, and presently go with me to my chamber, to take a note of what I stand in need of, to furnish me upon my longing journey. All that is mine I leave at thy dispose, my goods, my lands, my reputation, only, in lieu thereof, dispatch me hence. Come, answer not, but to it presently, I am impatient of my tarriance. Exeunt. Act Roman 3 Scene Milan. The Duke's Palace. Sir Thurio, give us leave, I pray, a while. We have some secrets to confer about. Exit Thurio. Now tell me, Proteus, what's your will with me? My gracious lord, that which I would discover the law of friendship bids me to conceal. But when I call to mind your gracious favours done to me, undeserving as I am, my duty pricks me on to utter that which else no worldly good should draw from me. No, worthy prince, Sir Valentine, my friend, this knight intends to steal away your daughter. Myself am one made privy to the plot. I know you have determined to bestow her on Thurio, whom your gentle daughter hates, and should she thus be stolen away from you, it would be much vexation to your age. Thus, for my duty's sake, I rather chose to cross my friend in his intended drift than by concealing it, heap on your head a pack of sorrows which would press you down, being unprevented, to your timeless grave. Proteus, I thank thee for thine honest care, which to requite command me while I live. This love of theirs myself have often seen, haply when they have judged me fast asleep, and oftentimes have purposed to forbid Sir Valentine her company and my cot. But fearing lest my jealous aim might err, and so unworthily disgrace the man, a rashness that I ever yet have shunned, I gave him gentle looks, thereby to find that which thyself hast now disclosed to me. And that thou mayst perceive my fear of this, knowing that tender youth is soon suggested, I nightly lodge her in an upper tower, the key whereof myself have ever kept, and thence she cannot be conveyed away. No, noble lord, they have devised a mean how he her chamber window will ascend, and with a corded ladder fetch her down, for which the youthful lover now is gone, and this way comes he with it presently, where, if it please you, you may intercept him. But, good my lord, do it so cunningly that my discovery be not aimed at, for love of you, not hate unto my friend, hath made me publisher of this pretence. Upon mine honour, he shall never know that I had any light from thee of this. Please it your grace, there is a messenger that stays to bear my letters to my friends, and I am going to deliver them. The tenor of them doth but signify my health and happy being at your cot. Nay then, no matter, stay with me a while. I am to break with thee of some affairs that touch me near, wherein thou must be secret. 'Tis not unknown to thee that I have sought to match my friend Sir Thurio to my daughter. I know it well, my lord, and sure the match were rich and honourable. Besides, the gentleman is full of virtue, bounty, worth, and qualities beseeming such a wife as your fair daughter. Cannot your grace win her to fancy him? No, trust me, she is peevish, sullen, froward, proud, disobedient, stubborn, lacking duty, neither regarding that she is my child nor fearing me as if I were her father. And may I say to thee, this pride of hers, upon advice, hath drawn my love from her. And where I thought the remnant of mine age should have been cherished by her childlike duty, I now am full resolved to take a wife and turn her out to who will take her in. Then let her beauty be her wedding dower. For me and my possessions she esteems not. There is a lady in Verona here whom I affect, but she is nice and coy, and not esteems my aged eloquence. Now therefore would I have thee to my tutor. For long agone I have forgot to cot. Besides, the fashion of the time is changed. How and which way I may bestow myself to be regarded in her sun-bright eye. Win her with gifts, if she respect not words. Dumb jewels often in their silent kind, more than quick words do move a woman's mind. A woman sometimes scorns what best contents her. Send her another, never give her awe, for scorn at first makes after-love the more. If she do frown, 'tis not in hate of you, but rather to beget more love in you. If she do chide, 'tis not to have you gone, for why, the fools are mad if left alone. Take no repulse whatever she doth say, for get you gone, she doth not mean away. Flatter and praise, commend, extol their graces, though ne'er so black. Say they have angels' faces. That man that hath a tongue, I say, is no man, if with his tongue he cannot win a woman. But she I mean is promised by her friends unto a youthful gentleman of worth, and kept severely from resort of men, that no man hath access by day to her. Ay, but the doors be locked and keys kept safe, that no man hath recourse to her by night. Her chamber is a loft, far from the ground, and built so shelving that one cannot climb it without apparent hazard of his life. Why then, a ladder quaintly made of cords, to cast up, with a pair of anchoring hooks, would serve to scale another hero's tower, so bold Leander would adventure it. Now, as thou art a gentleman of blood, advise me where I may have such a ladder. This very night, for love is like a child that longs for everything that he can come by. But hark thee, I will go to her alone. How shall I best convey the ladder thither? It will be light, my lord, that you may bear it under a cloak that is of any length. Then let me see thy cloak. I'll get me one of such another length. How shall I fashion me to wear a cloak? I pray thee, let me feel thy cloak upon me. What letter is this same? What's here? To Sylvia? And here an engine fit for my proceeding. I'll be so bold to break the seal for once. Reads, my thoughts do harbor with my Sylvia nightly, and slaves they are to me that send them flying. Oh, could their master come and go as lightly, himself would lodge where senseless they are lying. My herald thoughts in thy pure bosom rest them, while I, their king, that hither them importune, do curse the grace that with such grace hath blessed them, because myself do want my servants' fortune. I curse myself, for they are sent by me, that they should harbor where their laud would be. What's here? Sylvia, this night I will enfranchise thee. 'Tis so, and here's the ladder for the purpose. Why, Phaeton, for thou art Merop's son, wilt thou aspire to guide the heavenly car, and with thy daring folly burn the world? Wilt thou reach stars because they shine on thee? Go, base intruder, overweening slave, bestow thy fawning smiles on equal mates, and think my patience more than thy desert is privilege for thy departure hence. Thank me for this more than for all the favors which all too much I have bestowed on thee. But if thou linger in my territories longer than swiftest expedition will give thee time to leave our royal cot, by heaven, my wrath shall far exceed the love I ever bore my daughter or thyself. Begone, I will not hear thy vain excuse, but as thou lovest thy life, make speed from hence. Exit. And why not death rather than living torment? To die is to be banished from myself, and Sylvia is myself. Banished from her is self from self, a deadly banishment. What light is light if Sylvia be not seen? What joy is joy if Sylvia be not by? Unless it be to think that she is by and feed upon the shadow of perfection. Except I be by Sylvia in the night, there is no music in the nightingale. Unless I look on Sylvia in the day, there is no day for me to look upon. She is my essence, and I leave to be, if I be not by her fair influence fostered, illumined, cherished, kept alive. I fly not death, to fly his deadly doom, tarry I here, I but attend on death, but fly I hence, I fly away from life. My ears are stopped and cannot hear good news, so much of bad already hath possessed them. Then in dumb silence will I bury mine, for they are harsh, untunable, and bad. No Valentine, indeed, for sacred Sylvia. Hath she forsworn me? No Valentine, if Sylvia have forsworn me. What is your news? That thou art banished? Oh, that's the news? From hence, from Sylvia, and from me thy friend. Oh, I have fed upon this woe already, and now excess of it will make me surfeit. Doth Sylvia know that I am banished? Ay, and she hath offered to the doom, which, unreversed, stands in effectual fosse, a sea of melting pearl, which some call tears. Those at her father's churlish feet she tended, with them, upon her knees, her humble self, wringing her hands, whose whiteness so became them, as if, but now they waxed pale for woe. But neither bended knees, pure hands held up, sad sighs, deep groans, nor silver-shedding tears, could penetrate her uncompassionate sire. But Valentine, if he be ta'en, must die. Besides, her intercession chafed him so, when she for thy repeal was suppliant, that to close prison he commanded her, with many bitter threats of biding there. No more, unless the next word that thou speakst have some malignant power upon my life. If so, I pray thee, breathe it in mine ear, as ending anthem of my endless dolour. Cease to lament for that thou canst not help, and study help for that which thou lamentst. Time is the nurse and breeder of all good. Here if thou stay, thou canst not see thy love. Besides, thy staying will abridge thy life. Hope is a lover's staff, walk hence with that, and manage it against despairing thoughts. Thy letters may be here, though thou art hence, which, being writ to me, shall be delivered even in the milk-white bosom of thy love. The time now serves not to expostulate. Come, I'll convey thee through the city gate, and ere I part with thee, confer at lodge of all that may concern thy love affairs. As thou lovest Sylvia, though not for thyself, regard thy danger, and along with me? I pray thee, Launce, and if thou seest my boy, bid him make haste and meet me at the North Gate. Scene Roman 2 the same, the Duke's palace. Sir Thurio, fear not but that she will love you, now Valentine is banished from her sight. Since his exile she hath despised me most, forsworn my company, and railed at me, that I am desperate of obtaining her. This weak impress of love is as a figure trenched in ice, which with an hour's heat dissolves to water, and doth lose his form. A little time will melt her frozen thoughts, and worthless Valentine shall be forgot. How now, Sir Proteus? Is your countryman according to our proclamation gone? So I believe, but Thurio thinks not so. Proteus, the good conceit I hold of thee, for thou hast shown some sign of good desert, makes me the better to confer with thee. Longer than I prove loyal to your grace, let me not live to look upon your grace. Thou knowst how willingly I would effect the match between Sir Thurio and my daughter. And also, I think, thou art not ignorant how she opposes her against my will. I, and perversely she perseveres so. What might we do to make the girl forget the love of Valentine and love Sir Thurio? The best way is to slander Valentine with falsehood, cowardice, and poor descent. 3 things that women highly hold in hate. If his enemy deliver it, therefore it must with circumstance be spoken by one whom she esteemeth as his friend. And that, my lord, I shall be loath to do. 'Tis an ill office for a gentleman, especially against his very friend. Where your good word cannot advantage him, your slander never can endamage him. Therefore the office is indifferent, being entreated to it by your friend. You have prevailed, my lord. If I can do it by aught that I can speak in his dispraise, she shall not long continue love to him. But say this sweeter love from Valentine, it follows not that she will love Sir Thurio. Therefore, as you unwind her love from him, lest it should ravel and be good to none, you must provide to bottom it on me, which must be done by praising me as much as you in worth dispraise Sir Valentine. And Proteus, we dare trust you in this kind, because we know, on Valentine's report, you are already love's firm votary, and cannot soon revolt and change your mind. Upon this warrant shall you have access where you with Sylvia may confer at large, for she is lumpish, heavy, melancholy, and for your friend's sake will be glad of you, where you may temper her by your persuasion to hate young Valentine and love my friend. As much as I can do, I will effect, but you, Sir Thurio, are not sharp enough. You must lay lime to tangle her desires by wailful sonnets, whose composed rhymes should be full fraught with serviceable vows. Much is the farce of heaven-bred poesy. Say that upon the altar of her beauty you sacrifice your tears, your sighs, your heart. Write till your ink be dry, and with your tears moist it again, and frame some feeling line that may discover such integrity. For Orpheus' lute was strung with poet's sinews, whose golden touch could soften steel and stones, make tigers tame and huge leviathans forsake unsounded deeps to dance on sands. After your dialamenting elegies, visit by night your lady's chamber window with some sweet concert. To their instruments tune a deploring dump. The night's dead silence will well become such sweet complaining grievance. This, or else nothing, will inherit her. And thy advice this night I'll put in practice. Therefore, sweet Proteus, my direction giver, let us into the city presently, to sought some gentleman well skilled in music. I have a sonnet that will serve the turn to give the onset to thy good advice. We'll wait upon your grace till after supper, and afterward determine our proceedings. Act Roman 4 Scene I the frontiers of Mantua. A forest. Stand, sir, and throw us that you have about ye, if not, we'll make you sit and rifle you. Sir, we are undone. These are the villains that all the travellers do fear so much. Then know that I have little wealth to lose. A man I am crossed with adversity. My riches are these poor habiliments, of which if you should here disfurnish me, you take the sum and substance that I have. Some 16 months and longer might have stayed, if crooked fortune had not thwarted me, for that which now torments me to rehearse. I killed a man, whose death I much repent, but yet I slew him manfully in fight, without false vantage or base treachery. Why, ne'er repent it if it were done so. But were you banished for so small a fault? My youthful travel therein made me happy, or else I often had been miserable. By the bare scalp of Robin Hood's fat friar, this fellow were a king for our wild faction. Know, then, that some of us a gentleman, such as the fury of ungoverned youth thrust from the company of awful men, myself was from Verona banished for practising to steal away a lady, an heir, and near allied unto the duke. And I from Mantua, for a gentleman, who in my mood I stabbed unto the heart. And I for such like petty crimes as these, but to the purpose, for we cite our faults that they may hold excused our lawless lives, and partly, seeing you are beautified with goodly shape and by your own, report a linguist and a man of such perfection as we do in our quality much want. Indeed, because you are a banished man, therefore, above the rest, we parley to you. Are you content to be our general? To make a virtue of necessity and live, as we do, in this wilderness? What sayst thou? Wilt thou be of our consort? Say I, and be the captain of us all. We'll do thee homage and be ruled by thee. Love thee as our commander and our king. I take your offer and will live with you, provided that you do no outrages on silly women or poor passengers. No, we detest such vile base practices. Come, go with us, we'll bring thee to our cruise, and show thee all the treasure we have got, which, with ourselves, all rest at thy dispose. Exeunt. Scene Roman 2 Milan. Outside the Duke's palace, under Sylvia's chamber. Already have I been false to Valentine, and now I must be as unjust to Thurio. Under the color of commending him, I have access my own love to prefer. But Sylvia is too fair, too true, too holy, to be corrupted with my worthless gifts. When I protest true loyalty to her, she twits me with my falsehood to my friend. When to her beauty I commend my vows, she bids me think how I have been forsworn in breaking faith with Julia whom I loved. And notwithstanding all her sudden quips, the least whereof would quell a lover's hope, yet, spaniel-like, the more she spurns my love, the more it grows and fawneth on her still. But here comes Thurio. Now must we to her window, and give some evening music to her ear. Ay, gentle Thurio, for you know that love will creep in service where it cannot go. I thank you for your own. Now, gentlemen, let's tune, and to it lustily a while. Who is Sylvia? What is she, that all our swains commend her? Holy, fair, and wise is she, the heavens such grace did lend her, that she might admired be. Is she kind as she is fair? For beauty lives with kindness. Love doth to her eyes repair, to help him of his blindness, and being helped, inhabits there. Then to Sylvia let us sing, that Sylvia is excelling. She excels each mortal thing upon the dull earth dwelling. To her let us garlands bring. I would always have one play but one thing. But host, doth this Sir Proteus that we talk on often resort unto this gentlewoman? Sir Thurio, fear not you. I will so plead that you shall say my cunning drift excels. I thank you for your music, gentlemen. Who is that spake? One lady, if you knew his pure heart's truth, you would quickly learn to know him by his voice. You have your wish, my will is even this, that presently you hie you home to bed. Thou subtle, perjured, false, disloyal man, think'st thou I am so shallow, so conceitless, to be seduced by thy flattery, that hast deceived so many with thy vows? Return, and make thy love amends. For me, by this pale queen of night I swear, I am so far from granting thy request that I despise thee for thy wrongful suit, and by intend to chide myself even for this time I spend in talking to thee. I grant, sweet love, that I did love a lady, but she is dead. Aside. 'Twere false if I should speak it, for I am sure she is not buried. Say that she be, yet Valentine thy friend survives, to whom thyself art witness I am betrothed, and art thou not ashamed to wrong him with thy importunacy? And so suppose am I, for in his grave assure thyself my love is buried. Go to thy lady's grave and call hers thence, or, at the least, in her sepulchre thine. Madam, if your heart be so obdurate, vouchsafe me yet your picture for my love, the picture that is hanging in your chamber. To that I'll speak, to that I'll sigh and weep. For since the substance of your perfect self is else devoted, I am but a shadow, and to your shadow will I make true love. Aside. If 'twere a substance, you would, sure, deceive it, and make it but a shadow, as I am. I am very loath to be your idol, sir, but since your falsehood shall become you well to worship shadows and adore false shapes, send to me in the morning and I'll send it, and so, good rest. As wretches have all night that wait for execution in the morn, exeunt Proteus and Sylvia severally. Not so, but it hath been the longest night that e'er I watched, and the most heaviest. Exeunt. Scene Roman 3 the same. This is the hour that Madame Sylvia entreated me to call and know her mind. There's some great matter she'll employ me in. Madam, your servant and your friend, one that attends your ladyship's command. As many, worthy lady, to yourself, according to your ladyship's impose, I am thus early come to know what service it is your pleasure to command me in. O Eglama, thou art a gentleman, think not I flatter, for I swear I do not, valiant, wise, remorseful, well accomplished. Thou art not ignorant what dear good will I bear unto the banished Valentine, nor how my father would enforce me marry vain Thurio, whom my very soul abhors. Thyself hast loved, and I have heard thee say no grief did ever come so near thy heart as when thy lady and thy true love died, upon whose grave thou vowedst pure chastity. Sir Eglama, I would to Valentine, to Mantua, where I hear he makes abode, and for the ways a dangerous to pass, I do desire thy worthy company, upon whose faith and honor I repose. Urge not my father's anger, Eglama, but think upon my grief, a lady's grief, and on the justice of my flying hence, to keep me from a most unholy match, which heaven and fortune still rewards with plagues. I do desire thee, even from a heart as full of sorrows as the sea of sands, to bear me company and go with me, if not, to hide what I have said to thee, that I may venture to depart alone. Madam, I pity much your grievances, which since I know they virtuously are placed, I give consent to go along with you, recking as little what betideth me as much I wish all good befortune you. When will you go? At Friar Petric's cell, where I intend holy confession. Scene Roman 4 the same. Sebastian is thy name. I like thee well and will employ thee in some service presently. I hope thou wilt. To Launce. How now, you Hossan peasant, where have you been these 2 days loitering? Go get thee hence and find my dog again, or ne'er return again into my sight. Away, I say, stay'st thou to vex me here? Exit Launce. a slave, that still an end turns me to shame. Sebastian, I have entertained thee, partly that I have need of such a youth that can with some discretion do my business, for 'tis no trusting to yond foolish lout, but chiefly for thy face and thy behaviour, which, if my augury deceive me not, witness good bringing up, fortune and truth. Therefore know thou, for this I entertain thee. Go presently and take this ring with thee, deliver it to Madam Sylvia. She loved me well, delivered it to me. It seems you loved not her to leave her token. She is dead, belike. I cannot choose but pity her. Because methinks that she loved you as well as you do love your Lady Sylvia. She dreams of him that has forgot her love. You dote on her that cares not for your love. 'Tis pity love should be so contrary, and thinking of it makes me cry, alas. Well, give her that ring and therewithal this letter, that's her chamber. Tell my lady I claim the promise for her heavenly picture. Your message done, hie home unto my chamber, where thou shalt find me sad and solitary. Exit. How many women would do such a message? Alas, poor Proteus, thou hast entertained a fox to be the shepherd of thy lambs. Alas, poor fool, why do I pity him that with his very heart despiseth me? Because he loves her, he despiseth me. Because I love him, I must pity him. This ring I gave him when he parted from me, to bind him to remember my goodwill. And now am I, unhappy messenger, to plead for that which I would not obtain, to carry that which I would have refused, to praise his faith which I would have dispraised. I am my master's true confirmed love, but cannot be true servant to my master, unless I prove false traitor to myself. Yet will I woo for him, but yet so coldly as heaven it knows, I would not have him speed. Gentlewoman, good day. I pray you, be my mean to bring me where to speak with Madam Sylvia. If you be she, I do entreat your patience to hear me speak the message I am sent on. Ursula, bring my picture there. Go give your master this, tell him from me, one Julia, that his changing thoughts forget, would better fit his chamber than this shadow. Madam, please you peruse this letter. Pardon me, madam, I have unadvised delivered you a paper that I should not. This is the letter to your ladyship. There, hold. I will not look upon your master's lines. I know they are stuffed with protestations and full of new-found oaths, which he will break as easily as I do tear his paper. The more shame for him that he sends it me, for I have heard him say 1,000 times his Julia gave it him at his departure. Though his false finger have profaned the ring, mine shall not do his Julia so much wrong. I thank you, madam, that you tend to her. Poor gentlewoman, my master wrongs her much, almost as well as I do know myself. To think upon her woes I do protest that I have wept 100 several times. She hath been fairer, madam, than she is. When she did think my master loved her well, she, in my judgment, was as fair as you. But since she did neglect her looking-glass and threw her sun-expelling mask away, the air hath starved the roses in her cheeks and pinched the lily-tincture of her face, that now she is become as black as I. About my stature, for at Pentecost, when all our pageants of delight were played, our youth got me to play the woman's part, and I was trimmed in Madame Julia's gown, which served me as fit, by all men's judgments, as if the garment had been made for me. Therefore I know she is about my height. And at that time I made her weep agud, for I did play a lamentable part. Madam, 'twas Ariadne passioning for Theseus' perjury and unjust flight, which I so lively acted with my tears that my poor mistress, moved therewithal, wept bitterly, and would I might be dead if I in thought felt not her very sorrow. She is beholding to thee, gentle youth. Alas, poor lady, desolate and left, I weep myself to think upon thy words. Here, youth, there is my purse, I give thee this for thy sweet mistress' sake, because thou lovest her. Farewell. Exit Sylvia with attendants, and she shall thank you fought if e'er you know her. A virtuous gentlewoman, mild and beautiful. I hope my master's suit will be but cold, since she respects my mistress' love so much. Alas, how love can trifle with itself. Here is her picture, let me see. I think if I had such attire, this face of mine were full as lovely as is this of hers, and yet the painter flattered her a little, unless I flatter with myself too much. Her hair is auburn, mine is perfect yellow. If that be all the difference in his love, I'll get me such a colored periwig. Her eyes are gray as glass, and so are mine. Ay, but her forehead's low, and mine's as high. What should it be that he respects in her but I can make respective in myself, if this fond love were not a blinded god? Come, shadow, come and take this shadow up, for 'tis thy rival. O thou senseless fawn, thou shalt be worshipped, kissed, loved, and adored, and were there sense in his idolatry, my substance should be statue in thy stead. I'll use thee kindly for thy mistress' sake, that used me so, or else, by Jove I vow, I should have scratched out your unseeing eyes, to make my master out of love with thee. Exit. Act V. Scene I. Milan, an abbey. The sun begins to gild the western sky, and now it is about the very hour that Sylvia, at Friar Petrick's cell, should meet me. She will not fail, for lovers break not hours unless it be to come before their time, so much they spur their expedition. See where she comes. Amen, amen. Go on, good Eglama, out at the postern by the abbey wall. I fear I am attended by some spies. Fear not, the forest is not 3 leagues off. If we recover that, we are sure enough. Exeunt. Scene Roman 2 the same. The Duke's palace. Oh, sir, I find her milder than she was, and yet she takes exceptions at your person. But pearls are fair, and the old saying is, black men are pearls in beauteous ladies' eyes. Aside. 'Tis true, such pearls as put out ladies' eyes, for I had rather wink than look on them. How now, Sir Proteus? How now, Thurio? Which of you saw Sir Eglamour of late? Why then, she's fled unto that peasant Valentine, and Eglamour is in her company. 'Tis true, for Friar Lawrence met them both as he in penance wandered through the forest. Him he knew well, and guessed that it was she, but being masked, he was not sure of it. Besides, she did intend confession at Patrick's cell this even, and there she was not. These likelihoods confirm her flight from hence. Therefore, I pray you, stand not to discourse, but mount you presently and meet with me upon the rising of the mountain foot that leads towards Mantua, whither they are fled. Dispatch, sweet gentlemen, and follow me. Exit. Why, this it is to be a peevish girl that flies her fortune when it follows her. I'll after, more to be revenged on Eglama than for the love of reckless Sylvia. Exit. And I will follow, more for Sylvia's love than hate of Eglama that goes with her. Exit, and I will follow, more to cross that love than hate for Sylvia that is gone for love. Exit. Scene Roman 3 the frontiers of Mantua. The forest. Come, come, be patient, we must bring you to our captain. 1,000 more mischances than this one have learned me how to brook this patiently. Being nimble-footed, he hath outrun us, but Moises and Valerius follow him. Go thou with her to the west end of the wood, there is our captain, we'll follow him that's fled, the thicket is beset, he cannot scape. Come, I must bring you to our captain's cave, fear not. He bears an honorable mind, and will not use a woman lawlessly. Scene Roman 4 another part of the forest. How use doth breed a habit in a man? This shadowy desert, unfrequented woods, I bet a brook than flourishing peopled towns. Here can I sit alone, unseen of any, and to the nightingale's complaining notes tune my distresses and record my woes. O thou that dost inhabit in my breast, leave not the mansion so long tenantless, lest, growing ruinous, the building fall and leave no memory of what it was. Repair me with thy presence, Sylvia, thou gentle nymph, cherish thy fallen swain. What hallowing and what stir is this today? These are my mates that make their wills their law, have some unhappy passenger in chase. They love me well, yet I have much to do to keep them from uncivil outrages. Withdraw thee, Valentine, whose this comes here? Madam, this service I have done for you, though you respect not aught your servant doth, to hazard life and rescue you from him that would have fostered your honour and your love. Vouchsafe me, for my meed, but one fair look. A smaller boon than this I cannot beg, and less than this, I am sure, you cannot give. Aside. How like a dream is this I see and hear? Love, lend me patience to forbear a while. Unhappy were you, madam, ere I came, but by my coming I have made you happy. Had I been seized by a hungry lion, I would have been a breakfast to the beast, rather than have false Proteus rescue me. Oh, heaven be judge how I love Valentine, whose life's as tender to me as my soul, and full as much, for more there cannot be, I do detest false perjured Proteus. Therefore be gone, solicit me no more. What dangerous action, stood it next to death, would I not undergo for one calm look? Oh, 'tis the curse in love, and still approved, when women cannot love where they're beloved. When Proteus cannot love where he's beloved. Read over Julia's heart, thy first best love, for whose dear sake thou didst then rend thy faith into 1,000 oaths, and all those oaths descended into perjury, to love me. Thou hast no faith left now, unless thou'dst two, and that's far worse than none. Better have none than plural faith which is too much by one. Thou counterfeit to thy true friend? In love who respects friend? Nay, if the gentle spirit of moving words can no way change you to a milder form, I'll woo you like a soldier, at arm's end, and love you gainst the nature of love. Foss ye. Ruffian, let go that rude uncivil touch, thou friend of an ill fashion. Thou common friend, that's without faith or love, for such is a friend now, treacherous man. Thou hast beguiled my hopes, naught but mine I could have persuaded me. Now I dare not say I have one friend alive. Thou wouldst disprove me. Who should be trusted, when one's own right hand is perjured to the bosom? Proteus, I am sorry I must never trust thee more, but count the world a stranger for thy sake. The private wound is deepest, O time most accursed, mongst all foes that a friend should be the worst. My shame and guilt confounds me. Forgive me, Valentine. If haughty sorrow be a sufficient ransom for offense, I tend it here. I do as truly suffer as ere I did commit. Then I am paid, and once again I do receive the honest. Who by repentance is not satisfied is nor of heaven nor earth, for these are pleased. By penitence the eternal's wrath's appeased, and that my love may appear plain and free, all that was mine in Sylvia I give thee. How? Let me see. Why, this is the ring I gave to Julia. Oh, cry you mercy, sir, I have mistook, this is the ring you sent to Sylvia. But how camest thou by this ring? At my depart I gave this unto Julia, and Julia herself did give it me, and Julia herself hath brought it hither. Behold her that gave aim to all thy oaths, and entertained them deeply in her heart. How oft hast thou with perjury cleft the root? O Proteus, let this habit make thee blush. Be thou ashamed that I have took upon me such an immodest raiment, if shame live in a disguise of love. It is the less a blot, modesty finds, women to change their shapes than men their minds. Than men their minds? 'Tis true. O heaven, were man but constant he were perfect. That when error fills him with faults makes him run through all the sins, inconstancy falls off ere it begins. What is in Sylvia's face but I may spy more fresh in Julia's with a constant eye? Come, come, a hand from either. Let me be blessed to make this happy close. 'Twere pity two such friends should be long foes. Forbear, I say, it is my lord the Duke. Your grace is welcome to a man disgraced, banished Valentine. Thurio, give back, or else embrace thy death. Come not within the measure of my wrath. Do not name Sylvia thine, if once again Verona shall not hold thee. Here she stands, take but possession of her with a touch, I dare thee but to breathe upon my love. Sir Valentine, I care not for her, I hold him but a fool that will endanger his body for a girl that loves him not. I claim her not, and therefore she is thine. The more degenerate and base art thou, to make such means for her as thou hast done and leave her on such slight conditions. Now, by the honor of my ancestry, I do applaud thy spirit, Valentine, and think thee worthy of an empress love. Know then, I here forget all former griefs, cancel all grudge, repeal thee home again, plead a new state in thy unrivalled merit, to which I thus subscribe. Sir Valentine, thou art a gentleman and well derived. Take thou thy Sylvia, for thou hast deserved her. I thank your grace, the gift hath made me happy. I now beseech you, for your daughter's sake, to grant one boon that I shall ask of you. These banished men that I have kept withal are men endued with worthy qualities. Forgive them what they have committed here, and let them be recalled from their exile. They are reformed, civil, full of good and fit for great employment, worthy laud. Thou hast prevailed, I pardon them and thee. Dispose of them as thou know'st their deserts. Come, let us go. We will include all jaws with triumphs, mirth and rare solemnity. And as we walk along, I dare be bold with our discourse to make your grace to smile. What think you of this page, my lord? Please you, I'll tell you as we pass along, that you will wonder what hath fortuned. Come, Proteus, 'tis your penance but to hear the story of your loves discovered, that done, our day of marriage shall be yours, one feast, one house, one mutual happiness. Exeunt. Colophon, the Two Gentlemen of Verona, was published in 1594 by William Shakespeare. This ebook was produced for Standard eBooks by Emma Sweeney, and is based on a transcription produced in 1993 by Jeremy Hilton for the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and on digital scans from the Hathai Trust Digital Library. The cover page is adapted from Two Gentlemen of Verona, Valentine rescuing Sylvia from Proteus, a painting completed in 1851 by William Homan Hunt. The cover and title pages feature the League Spartan and Sots Mill Gaudy typefaces created in 2014 and 2009 by the League of Movable Type. This edition was released on August 18, 2025, 9:13 p.m., and is based on revision 3F 393A9. The first edition of this ebook was released on December 18, 2021, 2:57 a.m. You can check for updates to this ebook, view its revision history, or download it for different e-reading systems at standardbooksorg/ebooks/William Shakespeare/The Two Gentlemen of Verona. The volunteer-driven Standard eBooks project relies on readers like you to submit typos, corrections, and other improvements. Anyone can contribute at Standard Booksorg. Dramatis Personae Duke of Milan, father to Sylvia Valentine, gentleman Proteus, gentleman Antonio, father to Proteus Thurio, a foolish rival to Valentine Eglama, agent for Sylvia in her escape host, where Julia lodges outlaws with Valentine Speed, a clownish servant to Valentine Launce, the like to Proteus Panthino, servant to Antonio Julia, beloved of Proteus Silvia, beloved of Valentine Lucetta, waiting woman to Julia's servants, musician scene, Verona, Milan, the frontiers of Mantua. The Two Gentlemen of Verona. Imprint. This ebook is the product of many hours of hard work by volunteers for standard ebooks, and builds on the hard work of other literature lovers made possible by the public domain. This particular ebook is based on a transcription from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and on digital scans from the Hathai Trust Digital Library. The source text and artwork in this ebook are believed to be in the United States public domain. That is, they are believed to be free of copyright restrictions in the United States. They may still be copyrighted in other countries, so users located outside of the United States must check their local laws before using this ebook. The creators of and contributors to this ebook dedicate their contributions to the worldwide public domain via the terms in the CC 01.0 Universal Public Domain Dedication. For full license information, see the uncopyright at the end of this ebook. Standard eBooks is a volunteer-driven project that produces ebook editions of public domain literature using modern typography, technology, and editorial standards, and distributes them free of cost. You can download this and other ebooks carefully produced for true book lovers at standardbooks.org.